strategist at Pira Innovation, which includes brands such as KTM. And it's a very fascinating job because he and his team are scouting for exciting startups and technology every year, and are analyzing them, and then are working with those who can be beneficial for the brands they work with. He's going to show us now a business example of how AI can be used in the field of his work. Please welcome to the stage, Andreas.
Little test, sorry. The audio doesn't work.
Hello there. Please meet the real Andreas Kreiner on stage to talk about AI for business.
I wasn't sure I would have such a charming moderator to introduce me, so I made sure I have an artificial one. Thanks very much. So I'll talk about what a corporate like us does with AI and how we try to approach that, which potential we see, what we struggle with. I do scouting all the year, and I'm really here to do my job actually, which is open innovation. So I'm going to talk about what we do and what we struggle with, and I'm actually hoping that someone will have some better ideas than what we have, because that's what I'm looking for, right? I'm constantly looking for new ideas how to solve challenges we are facing. I'm also very much looking for inspirations about challenges I didn't even know we had, because even that I'm getting a lot from startups and from other companies. All right, so what I'll try to go with, I'll give a little context of what we are, so you understand maybe what the challenges are, what we face, and what we're looking for. Therefore, it may not be what you do, but I'm very much looking forward to actually understand who you are, because I hope this will be a dialogue, maybe a little message from
Today we will talk
Alice.
about AI for business. It should be a conversation, so you are asked to pose questions, comments, share your experience. And later you will have the chance to speak with me as well, in perhaps the first appearance of me, the AI, live on stage in Austria.
Unfortunately, I've just heard yesterday there was already an AI talking, so it's no longer the first time an AI appears on stage. And also we have a little problem with the audio and the internet. But anyway, to the first thing, which is, who are you? So I'd like to really go around you and ask, are you students? Are you from companies? Are you from startups? What are you? Maybe hands up whoever is student. Okay, hands up who is from startups. Very few. Hands up from corporates. Okay, and the others are from where? Anyone? We only have startups, corporates, and universities then. Okay, and you are all experts in AI, or are you also looking for inspirations and wonder what to do with it? Okay, great. So we're two. Okay, all right, wonderful. You're in the right place. I'll tell you some things. Okay, anyone else? Anyone who sees himself as an expert in AI, by chance? No? Okay. All right. So, okay, I'll quickly go through, KTM in case you don't know what we do, and what Pira Innovation does and what I do, and then how we try to approach this. What we've done so far and what we've just done recently to kind of prepare for this, what I think is a new age, really, the age of AI, which is going to hit businesses, and we don't even know how, but it's going to hit businesses a lot. Just so you know, we're part of Pira Mobility. We produce motorcycles and bicycles, everything very sportive, so this is what we do. So we're actually a hardware OEM, right? A premium brand, hardware OEM selling worldwide vehicles, Europe's largest motorcycle company. And I'm part of innovation. We do digitalization and innovation projects for the whole group. Anything, whether it's smart products, smart factories, smart commerce, smart organization, 70 people. And what I do in this is scouting. Got Austria's largest scouting unit, looking for any technology, anywhere in the world, all year round, that might make us better. Better in anything, on the vehicle, how we communicate with it, how they drive, new powertrains, new business models, IoT, how we produce them, the supply chain behind them, how we market our brands, how we create brands, how we sell, the customer journey, services for dealers, services at the dealers, services for the customers, or anything behind the scenes for the whole organization to make us better. AI is such a topic, a generic technology for the whole organization. So for us, it's part of smart organization. Essentially a productivity tool. Okay, that's it. So where we've been, we've already had a data science team, okay? A fairly sizable one. So we've been using building blocks, mathematical and IT building blocks to build specific, maybe not AI, but data science, machine learning, etc., applications that are very specific for us. Okay, we've had that, but what has changed end of last year, right, with ChatGPT is this promise I've been hearing for so long from science that, you know, AI is just about to have this breakthrough and it's really going to be here and it's going to transform you as a company completely. And I've never quite believed, but with ChatGPT I thought, oh dear, maybe the point is here, right? So this has changed. This promise that with generative AI, ready-made applications for business can simply be bought and used. So nothing that we actually develop ourselves. Developing AI models usually is quite a cumbersome task. It needs a lot of good data, which we may or may not have. Typically we don't. So there's, you know, it's fairly limited what we can do despite having a lot of data, but it's not necessarily good, it's not necessarily annotated, it's not necessarily clean. So the difference is that there's this promise that there's business apps coming in that we just simply buy, use, and they transform us, okay? So this was this promise, and we've been wondering, is this true? Are we at the stage that business apps come to us and then what do we do with them? Right? What will others do? You know, we're in a competition. Shall we jump at them? You know, and what types are there, and so on. Okay. So this is the question we've asked ourselves from literally just the start of this year. So with ChatGPT, generative AI, and then there's also this this fantastic. This is, I think, where most of the value will come. That with generative AI, there's a lot of building blocks out there, generic capabilities with which other companies can build very specialized use cases, right? Applications. And combining it with several building blocks is that should say. So the promise that there's a wave of AI apps coming, and what do we do with it? So what we said is there's so many topics in this. The field is so wide, we can't even actually look at this, analyze that, and come to a conclusion. We've got to do this together. So we created what we call an InnoCamp, kind of a hackathon, a group putting together a group of companies, mostly in Upper Austria, other innovation leading companies. And we said we'll sit together and look at this topic together. Okay, and what you see today is what the outcome was that it just happened 2 days ago. So we had this InnoCamp, and what we actually did there, we started with some 30 AI apps and tried to test them because, you know, you can't just go from the promises you see on the internet. There's a lot of promises out there, right? But, you know, is it really working? Is it really working well? Is it really working for you? Could you really actually integrate this? Do you want this? Is it worth it? You can only find out if you try them out. So first test was, can we actually test them, right? So only those who we could test and we could find a useful, you know, use case for us is what we chose. And we then showed that and looked at this together and discussed, is this relevant across several companies? Okay. All right. What I would go through, if that's okay with you, is the kind of apps we've seen that are as a starting block, right? Apps that we think are useful, right? And what our conclusion was with them. I hope that's all right with you. So we've seen apps, around marketing that help visualize things, animate emotions, stories, that create interactive experiences very fast, that help us with product descriptions and help us with customer segmentations. These are all ready-made applications. I'll go through them. So one block is marketing. A surprising area for us was actually personal development. There's an astounding set of tools out there already that help us analyze our behavior, how we communicate, and coach us to become better, and actually tell us our health in 30 seconds. There's a whole area around product development, creating content, simple videos to start with, product review analysis, etc. And then there's a whole rack of tools for actually IT and data science, code completion, code generation, code review, and AI models. Okay. So that's one. So, I mean, you all know ChatGPT. One area where it really worked, we've actually tested it out, is we used the underlying Chat3 service. So we have this, we have this problem that we, other than motorcycles, we sell 50,000 accessories, power parts, garments, etc. So that means 50,000 product descriptions in 17 languages. And many of them, like garments, change every year. So we have to write today 100,000 or hundreds of thousands of product descriptions. You can imagine, actually, we write them really badly. They're pretty horrible. And whoever produces them sit in an office. They don't even see the thing, right? This thing goes from suppliers to the warehouse to the dealers directly. And the guys actually writing them don't even know what they're writing about. They get from the actual suppliers some bullet points, and we've been wondering whether we can turn these into useful product descriptions, right? We could literally, without even reviewing them, put online, and that would be better than what we produce as humans. And actually, it is, surprisingly. So in most cases, it actually surprised us. We can just take that fully automatic, run it through GPT-3 actually it's called, and we get exactly this result, and that is pretty good. So this is an area we're definitely going to use. I hope that's okay that I'm going through these very practical things, right? And I hope you weren't imagining in this topic, in this session, an academic or scientific discussion. So another thing is, I mean, that things you can generate images. So for us, what was super interesting? So we've generated all these in minutes. So we've started already last year doing a lot in 3D animations, streaming interactive experiences. We're the first company to actually go live worldwide. I've been last year here presenting that with the new Google streaming service. So we create unreal environments, unreal experiences, and obviously with the bikes, right? So we know how to produce the bikes, also digitally, but the environments actually for us is a challenge, right? And okay, these are game-looking like environments. No, we can't use them as they are, right? Because they don't fit to our products. But for mood boards, etc., right, to generate ideas, right, what environments can look like, so that we discuss actually what the right environment would be for a segment and a brand and a motorbike, and then the actual artists and technicians handcraft the real environment, digital environment, as a background, right? For that, it's perfect. Another thing where it's really fantastic is, we have all sorts of logos to produce, project logos, visualizations of concepts, and also one great thing is personas. There's a lot of tools, by the way, Midjourney, DALL-E, Stable Diffusion, Night Cafe, and many more. There's probably 100 like that soon. So we produced, for example, personas, right? Personas just we use it internally, right, to actually visualize the kind of customer groups we have and keep them in our head when we develop smart product ideas and look at customer journeys and imagine But so far, we've already struggled with having just 4 personas, right? Like the rookie, the young guy, the returnee, who had to stop because of family, and at 55 he comes back to the motorcycle, or the expert who's always been there, right? Or the orange bleeders. But to also imagine that, not only, and they're typically male because most of us, right? But we should also think of females, right? We always picture Europeans, but we sell in 100 countries. So what about if that he looked like African, right? Arabic, Chinese, Japanese, South American. We sell in all these countries. What if he's young? What if he's older? What if mid-age? And then we have the various brands, right? The one for KTM, the Husqvarnas are very different. The Gasgas, the different brands. So we can actually produce now personas like that, which we find pretty interesting. And so one use case is just internally, right? We have them in front of us when we, as I said, when we design products, journeys, whatever. But we can turn them into avatars as well, right? You've seen 2 before already. So we think, we at least I firmly believe, the kind of interaction we have with customers today are going to replace with something like this, because it is so much more natural. It is so much more human, actually, right? It's funny that we use much more technology to create a more human interaction. But I think this is what's happening. So instead of mass mailings and social media content and frequently asked questions, sections that are text that I click on, right? Or stupid chatbots, I think I'd rather have something like this I talk with. And it should reflect the brand, right? It should reflect, hopefully, also me. So we want that, the avatar, if we knew, oh, it's a young guy, or he's from Europe, or he's from Japan, right? He should look, we should bridge the brand, right, with the person, right? And ideally, what status he has in this, which role he has. So for example, a guy like that.
A warm welcome to you all at the KTM Moto Hall. We have gathered here today to work at the InnoCamp Disruptive AI.
Und nun folgt kurze Einführung von Andreas Kriner. Jo, es geht hier aufs Schweizerdeutsch.
Right, and it's not just the avatar, the person. We can also play with the voice. We can play with the dialect, right? We can, and this is only the beginning, right? Like, if I may, I'll switch to, in case you don't know that, although I guess most of you will, right? Show you how you can actually create this online, and we'll do something with Karin. So that's one of the platforms, DRD, one of the 2 leading ones for animated avatars at the moment. You can start with avatars they have. You can just add a picture you've created artificially, a picture you've had from yourself, just with your phone, right? A picture I find from Karin, right? And then we say, hello there. Or shall we do German? Shall we do English? You'll see, okay. Hello there. I am Karin's new virtual avatar. And in case you don't know, right? There's like there's some like 30 languages already embedded, and this is today, right? Just imagine where we are in 1 year, in 2 years, in 5 years. And for English, I even have 40 different accents or dialects, right? I can make it sound South African, Nigerian, Tanzanian, Moroccan, Philippine, whatever, Singaporean, or American, Irish, Australian, etc. So, let's do Tanzania, right? I could give you a male, but maybe not so good, a female voice, right? I can listen to this.
Hello there, I am Karin's new virtual avatar.
Sounds very much Tanzanian when they speak English. And generate video. And okay, this takes maybe 5 seconds. It depends on the length, right? Maybe up to 5 minutes, and you've got a video, right? Interesting thing is, I can generate this with APIs. With APIs, I can say, take this text, take this image or this avatar, take this voice, and at some point we'll also have emotions in there. So currently it's just text to speech, I can't say speak passionately, speak slowly, try to be wise, not yet, but will, it's ready. But with APIs, right, I can trigger all that, and some companies actually create mass mailings with this, addressing every single customer personally with a customized video. Because if nothing else, you use the name, right, of the customer. Say, hey, you, please, this is the message from the CEO, right, and they use the picture of the CEO, and the CEO speaks to you and says thank you for, being a customer at the end of the year or something, right? But here we've got now Karin.
Hello there, I am Karin's new virtual avatar.
Okay, there was a simple thing, okay, all right. But you can see how easy it is. It's amazing, right? I mean, this didn't exist until like 6 months ago. I think it changes completely. And you've seen, right, this is a one-way, this is a broadcast, very easy. And the next step is, of course, but that was here yesterday, right, that you could actually, that would be here, right? This is the first avatar, at least I knew of, and we're working with this company, DRD, one of the two, I think, leading ones in Israel. They just finished, this was just finished last Friday. So that's the first avatar, which I could show if we didn't have an audio problem. I mean, we can do it anyway, but where I talk to ChatGPT, but via voice. Right, and then the answer is then animated with this avatar, right? So it's actually 4 technologies coming together, right? We have ChatGPT, speech to text, text to speech, right, and animation of avatars, or animation of pictures. Now this, especially the voice. Actually, the problem now is ChatGPT is already pretty good. The animation works really well. Text-to-speech works well, but speech-to-text is really bad. I mean, we can try this, but it's going to misunderstand me completely, right? But we'll try anyway. Hello, Alice. I'm Andreas. Actually, that worked. It works better at home, but, before when we tried it didn't work because of the
Hello, Andreas. It's great to meet you. How can I assist you today?
What is the top speed of a KTM 1290 Super Duke? Actually, it even works, so I'm surprised, okay. So this is coming just from ChatGPT.
The KTM 1290 Super Duke has a top speed of around 180 miles per hour. It's an incredibly powerful motorcycle and one of the fastest production bikes available on the market today.
So that's 290 kilometers an hour, right? It's the kind of things we produce. Okay, so, I'm not sure what you think. I think this is going to be, this is very crude, right? This is not production ready. This is the first prototype. We're going to work on a lot of improvements with this company. So, but for us, interesting is this question, for example, is one of the top questions we get asked all the time. People actually, and we have done a lot of chat bot projects, just taking the knowledge that's in our manuals, right, and making it available in a chat bot or in a voice chat bot to customers, because our manuals are like 200 pages thick, and especially when you may need an answer, which maybe while you ride or at the petrol station, you haven't actually got the manual with you, and you don't want to actually look up something. You just want to say, which oil do I need to buy now, right? Or something, right? And one of the questions...
Are you still around?
Okay.
Anything else on your mind?
Sorry, it's pretty polite, actually. I like that. I don't know how you... But I find that nice, right? This effect is always here, right? This is so different from my stupid chatbot, right? Okay, let's just sign out that she's not confused. Okay, so what do I want to say? Yeah, so this question, the top speed, right, is not in our manuals, but it's the first question most asked. Because of regulation reasons, we're not allowed to say it, because in every country it's different. We have different settings We'd have to use a manual for every 100 countries we sell. We don't. We sell one manual, so we don't actually answer this top speed. So what we really want is, right, that we have an intelligent, polite, interesting-looking avatar in the future that I talk with, right, that both knows all the facts about a manual, so corporate content, but also understands that if it's not in here, it looks on the internet, checks whether it finds it, and if it seems a good answer, right, says that, and also says this is enough from the internet. Well, actually, we didn't talk to our lawyers yet, right? Yeah, they may actually tell me I'm not allowed to do this either. It could be, I don't know. But well, you're right. Maybe we run into the same problem. No, but actually, no, I think we could do it. We could put it in manuals, right? But as I said, we'd have to adhere to the regulation of every market, and we actually sell our bikes, right, with slightly different settings, right? Certain bikes only drive 175, or so in this country, and 180 in this, which is why if we put any number in a manual, we'd actually have to either list all of them, right, which raises a lot of questions, or it's wrong, right? Or produce 100 variants, which we don't want to. So we'd overcome that, but legally we're not allowed, then we're still not allowed, right? Of course. No, which is why I said, right? What we want to do is, therefore, we want to get in the corporate content, right? Which it doesn't yet. This is now what it finds on the internet. So we want to find that it actually would first look towards corporate content we have, which is maybe manual and product information databases, etc. that we have, but uses this language capabilities, and hopefully it's able to apply it. It's yet to be proven, by the way. It's not proven yet, but it's a piece that we're going to do. Answer it from there, and that hopefully is correct because it's ours, right? Only if it doesn't find something, look outside, but then say, wait a minute, this wasn't coming from the company. This is where I think we'd like to go. Simply because we've tried the other way around, as I said, just taking company content, right? And then a lot of answers are not in there. Actually, it's a bad experience as well, right? Okay. So the next thing we're going to do, first of all, this is very slow, etc., right? As I said, the speech to text is not bad, it's really bad, so this has to improve a lot. I still had to press this button that has to go away. This will be the biggest bottleneck for a long time, actually, speech to text. They're going to change that I can use any avatar. I'll have this in about 2 weeks. Then I can use, all the other avatars, the KTM, whatever, or Husqvarna. Okay, we'll have that. We'll get this then embeddable. Right now, this is, right, the DoD.com page. At some point, we'll get this embeddable that it's, running in our homepage. The next step is that we try this, as I said, with the company content, right? And if that all works, which is taking a while, then we could embed it on our homepage as FAQs and like a kind of a cool-looking chatbot. We can also then embed it in applications, right? And then something like this can also easily become a coach. I think a coach I would like to be coached by her, right? I like her. She's, it makes it much more likable, doesn't it? To kind of visualize something. And then we should get this, right, as an Unreal asset, because we want to embed it in our Unreal 3D environments. Because then I have the bike, I have environments that I talked about, right? Then we're going to have persons, avatars, in there that should move. So that's actually challenged already. Because an avatar that is static is totally wrong, right? Human always moves, even when it stands. So that, but once we have that, then this person, right, can actually show us garments that we sell on a body, because the garments not on a body just look not right. Just like a bike moving alone without a rider on it looks wrong. So we also need an avatar to put on a bike so we can show bikes in action, okay? And once we have that, then you could also talk with them. They could explain the bike. They could explain the accessories, right? They can talk about the brand. They can tell me chat about news. There's a new rally coming up. There's the next MotoGP next Sunday, maybe. You may want to watch that, etc., right? There's a lot of opportunities then in a 3D interactive streaming environment to actually interact in a lot of new ways, right? With content we have actually ready. Okay. If that's all right, I'll move on. And you have to tell me when I'm running totally out of time, which may happen very soon. So where were we? Yep.
A warm welcome to you all at the KTM.
Okay, we've had that. By the way, the one thing why I had here, by the way, down there, it's interesting, right? I can also take any picture that I just took with my camera, right, and animate that. I can also take a picture like this, and it doesn't work. They actually have built in that this is a person of public interest. I'm not allowed to use that, so I like that. That's the first attempt, at least, right, to make sure that deepfakes it isn't used for deepfakes, which obviously is going to be used for. But at least they do something about it. Okay, we've done that. Yeah, just another thing that a tool that helps us a little is Runway ML. It does all sorts of stuff. For example, what it does, very often we create a little video of something, even for internal purposes, right? And you have something disturbing somewhere, something you don't want to show, a person, a mast, I don't know, a competitor bike, who knows what. But you'd like to use that sequence anyway for the other thing, right? So you can just simply edit things out of clips in no time. It's a cool thing, right? Okay, that's a small thing, can be used for marketing. We have fast video generation. It's also a very small tool, right? But videos are so much more powerful than simple text, yet we still write mostly text. Why? Because creating a video is still so expensive, right? And even a stupid video that is more or less a slideshow, right, had to be created somehow, and this does it for you. So you just throw it in a text, and you can give it a style, and it generates out actually a kind of a video, like a TikTok 15 seconds video, getting across a couple of messages, right, in your kind of style. Even if it is actually text, you throw it down, ready. Looks still better, it's more attractive than just the text. I mean, a damn stupid thing. Anyway, this one is super interesting for development, right? I'm jumping around quite a bit, but it's been used at universities. Universities actually teach their students, or some of them, like FH Hagenberg, teaching their students to actually use AI when they write code. It does actually auto-completion, right? I mean, you can even, you've probably also heard that ChatGPT can even actually generate code, and it actually sometimes even works. They've done a trial where if you ask ChatGPT to give you actually a computer program for chess, it actually works. And it's better than nearly any students would ever be able to produce after 4 years, right? In certain areas, it's better than what 22-year-olds can do. But something simpler is, while you wrote, it keeps on telling you what is most likely the next line, next word in the next line. And it's very often extremely good. And the interesting thing is, right, you think, so isn't that stupid? I mean, the students won't learn anymore how to code, right, if the thing actually codes it for them. Well, the interesting thing is it works particularly well if you do the proper comments. So it actually forces the students to comment the code, which is what most students don't like to do, and do only at the end and only when they must. But this way they learn, if I do the comments properly, the thing actually helps me program a lot. So at the end you get there faster, they have better code, and it's commented. So it's actually a win-win situation. I found that a pretty interesting insight. Something completely different, right? There's apps like this. they actually analyze your behavior. They come in the forms of Teams plugins, for example. And so if you allow it, in any team session that you do, I mean, I do up to 12 team sessions a day, every day, it watches you, right? And then it gives you feedback. And this in many forms. This one is actually looking at your behavior, you know, and it creates a profile out of you. It can do this then for a whole team and create the profile of a team. And you could use it then, for example, for recruiting. You analyze a candidate and you'll see how the candidate fits to the team along these categories, okay? You may actually not want a person that exactly fits the team. You may actually look for a person that exactly isn't fitting the team because you want a complement to your team, right? So I mean, how you use it is then your decision. But that's kind of interesting, right? So it just keeps on watching you basically, you know, your voice and how you act, how you talk, and comes to a certain profile. So a profiler, right? The next one is actually more of a coach, communication coach, called Poised. Also, it watches you constantly in Teams again, since in corporates, a lot of corporates use Teams. And it keeps on telling you, right, how you talk, how you communicate, right? Are you using a lot of filler words, which we usually do, right? We don't notice. I should use this myself, right? Probably using a lot of filler words. I'm not even aware of it. It tells you using a lot of filler words, and it's this, and this, and that, right? Because it's actually typically annoying for the others, right? If you use a lot of filler words. It also tells you about the pace, right? Maybe you're too fast, maybe you're too slow, right? How much energy are you getting across, right? And what's the overall talk time? You know, are you dominating the conference? And maybe you shouldn't, right? Or you're not at all appearing, and you should. So whatever, right? So it gives you things like empathy, clarity, inspiration, confidence. Pretty interesting, something like that. I think some coaches like that are going to be really important. And you can actually even do this for, specifically for speech. I should have done this for this, but I didn't. Like, you know, I'm doing a dry run of my presentation, and the thing is telling you how good you are at it, right? I mean, I could ask my wife as well, but she's very critical.
Okay.
Yes, works now.
What if I say that I think that you you lose to learn to notice yourself, like if you speak too fast, if the system tells you if you speak too fast, that you use too many filler words, you lose your feeling or the perception of yourself.
Self-reflection?
Yeah.
Yes, could well be. You're right. Maybe. I don't know. You know, it just arrived, these things. I think at first glance, they probably help us. There's a lot of things I'm sure that I'm not aware of that it can tell me. But yes. Well, maybe it's the opposite. Maybe, you know, it teaches me I should be more self-reflective than I am, telling me things I didn't know, and therefore I'm more, trying to be aware of myself, but actually have no idea whatsoever what the long-term effect is. You're right. Maybe the long-term effect is that we just get lazy, right? And we just wait for someone to tell us what to think and what to do, right? I don't know. But you're right, it could be. Yeah, please, you know, if you have any comments or questions, please do, because, you know, as I said, I'm not here as the expert, right? Hey, this one is a really impressive thing. It literally runs on any mobile phone. I mean, it's really amazing. I've seen this at CS just in January. It runs just on a mobile phone. You look at it with your face for 30 seconds, and then tells you how you are. I mean, the insight it gives me is astounding, right? Okay, it gives me the heart rate, the breathing rate, obviously, right? Heart variability. But it can tell me, you know, what is the likelihood that I'll get diabetes 2 in 10 years, right? It tells me the likelihood of a heart stroke, of the other stroke, and things like that, just by looking at me. It's amazing. So this thing is going to get FDA approval, at least trying to work at it to actually become a medical device, so to speak, and it needs nothing than any tablet or mobile phone, not a special camera. And how it works, I mean, it's something, you know, we can't quite imagine. It actually, when it looks at, you know, analyzes the face, right, for 30 seconds, it can see actually the pulse. Something we can't see, but the camera apparently is sharp enough that it can, right? And just so it can really measure the heart and the heart rate, the variability, etc. Together with 3 facts: are you male? What's your age? What's your weight? It can derive all these other things. I find it amazing. So as a corporate, if you know that we already have a problem with employees, so we as KTM, we've taken on 800 new employees last year alone, and it's very hard for us to get new employees. There are some functions and roles we have not been able to fill for like 2 years. A lot of technical skills, and this is only the beginning, right? If you know the demographics, in the next 10 years in Austria alone, there's between 70 and 100,000 employees lacking every year, and this accumulates. So if you can add it up, right, over 15, 20 years, we're going to have a shortage of, say, 1 million employees, right? Given if everything stays equal, which means all of us companies are going to run into a huge, terrible shortage, right? Which is one reason I think AI is essential for us. A lot of functions we have to supply or fulfill with AI because we're not getting people. We just aren't. And the other thing we have to look at, we have to be much, much better in trying to keep every employee with us as long as possible, and we have to help keep them fit. Okay, we as a company are not allowed to know the health of anyone, but it's true we could. I mean, you know, I'm talking something that I haven't talked with HR about, right? But they may not like this idea, but it's something we could give to employees and say, look, this is something, you do a health check at a time, you know, and this thing gives you kind of a health warning, and then if it does say this and this and that, please go to the doctor. Right? We won't know the results, we don't know whether you go to the doctor or not, but it's something we can do, and I think things like this we'll have to do to make everyone aware, right, of his health, and you know, any bad indication as soon as possible, right, to hopefully steer against it and remain as healthy as possible. Okay, doc, that's one. 506 is an Upper Austrian company, so there's not only American and Israeli companies. There's also a couple of pretty good ones in Austria. 506 is customer segmentation. If you have customer data, it can help cluster, and then it can help give you clear answers and describe that cluster in ways you probably didn't know yourself. Right? It can literally create a persona, right, of certain clusters. So that's interesting for a lot of us, especially if we are in B2C. This is also something interesting we want to try out, another Upper Austrian company, Krisam. It looks at a whole rack of stuff on the internet in real time and warns you if something shows up that could be a risk for you. Be it in the supply chain, it could be bad reviews of employees, it could be bad product reviews, it could be political risk, financial risk, all sorts of stuff, right? It's going to show up, and could be a warning signal that someone has to look at and may then warn the board. That was very interesting. It's not a product yet. It's about to become one. It's another project of FH Hagenberg. They take Amazon product reviews. So if you are a company that is selling products, right, that are on Amazon as a databases, but it could be a different database if you had one. Some companies have the internal database of comments from customers. Then the interesting thing is with ChatGPT logic, you can actually then ask questions to the customers. 2 minutes, okay? Questions to the customers. Although I'm not actually talking to them, right? Just from the reviews they've given, if you have enough reviews for product or product category, it doesn't tell me what they think. I can ask questions, and I could say, what is it? What are the most important features customers want in this segment? What is it? Where do they want the improvements most? Things like that I can literally ask by text, and get an answer. We find it super exciting. We can do a lot of product research with content we have, with customers we don't even need to talk to. Okay, so findings. We've seen, there's a lot of tools we think that will help us increase efficiency, improve quality, and help us in certain strategic areas. So is AI here and useful for business? Is the question we asked ourselves on Tuesday. We said yes. Is it yet transformative? We think not for most of us, but this is only the beginning, right? So how many companies of those that were there want to now work on AI in the next 12 months? In the next 2 months, 12 out of 12. We've also learned that we need new skills. There's a lot of skills around prompting. When you talk with ChatGPT or any AI, it looks so simple, but it is extremely responsive to how and what you write and in what context and what you've written before. You have to literally learn to work with these AI tools. It's a new skill that we all have to acquire. This is something that's going to come up that no one has any skill and experience with, but it's something that Then another thing we've realized, AI can do a lot. It can also do a lot not. There's a minimum understanding we have to get across all the managers and experts in the whole company. We have to actually create a whole training for what is AI and what is it not. What can you expect? What are the shortfalls, etc. Including top management. It's going to be hard. Then we have to learn how to cope with a flood of AI apps. I think we're going to see 10,000 AI apps coming our way in the next 3 years alone. That's a new flood that's, you've got to somehow learn how to cope with that. And one of the things we've seen is, okay, we've got to get going, and we just can't do this alone, right? Every company trying to cope with this flood of 10,000 AI apps, this is hopeless, right? So we want to team up. So we said, we want to create a forum, right? A group of companies that look at this together, somehow find ways to collaboratively do that. Start with quick wins, get clear benefits, get the organization ready, because this, we actually would answer, is AI ready for business? We'd say this is much more so than is business ready for AI, which we think is much less so, at least for our businesses. Okay, doc, so this is what we're going to do, and we're actually going to continue working together. We're going to meet again in 2 months, where each company is going to present what they've done, what they've learned. We want to learn from each other. How did things work, in certain areas, but also how did we go about it? What was the response from the departments, from HR, from legal, etc., right? Because we have to answer all of these questions, all of us, right? Actually have to answer in a way the same questions, right? And it's a lot of questions. Okay, and I think that's going to keep us busy for the next 10 years. And maybe one last message from the AI.
So what will you do? I am already here. I get better every day. I do not sleep. I replicate what you have learned. You must learn to use and tame me. But you must also evolve to stay ahead.
I think this thing is going to challenge us a lot, right? So we'll have a lot of learning to do. We get a lot of benefits from it. We really have to use it well. It can be misused. It's going to, I think, create... we have this gap in a way already between the people who know and those who don't. It's going to be even more pronounced in the future between those who keep learning and evolving and those who just don't want to learn, because all those who don't want to learn and do repetitive tasks, also now in the offices, I think will be increasingly replaced. Partially that's a good thing. As I said, we're going to have a big shortage of employees anyway. So that's a win-win, actually. But at some point it's going to bite. We'll see, I think, a lot of disruption. Some things will be negative, but I think also good things will come out of it. Certain jobs will fall away. But then again, there's so many jobs if you think of it, right? Where 90% of the job is stupid, repetitive admin work, when actually the value add is maybe talking with a customer, right? Having a real conversation, to which you never get time to because we actually do all these emails and blah, 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 right? So I think there's a huge benefit, right, in cutting away a lot of stuff. But we'll have to learn, to actually look, what is the real value add and move people there, right? But we also need people, right, willing to change, right, and move into new roles and acquire new skills, right? And focus on new things. I think it's going to challenge all of us a lot. And just in case you didn't know, I mean, the amount of apps being created, this is just a small summary of the top, the 20 biggest venture capital funds and what they invest in AI. That's typically just the most known American Israeli companies. Today, it's this many already. You can imagine how many there are worldwide and how many there will be in 5 years and 10 years. I mean, it's really going to be a flood of AI apps coming. Okay, doke.
Fantastic. Thank you, Andreas. Thank you for giving us an insight into your work and also sharing very hands-on examples. I took a lot of pictures and I'm definitely going to check out some of those apps, so I really appreciate that.
Okay.
And at 2:30, we're going to continue with the question whether AI can make us more creative. So we're going to have artists here with us on the stage. See you soon. Thank you.